can see from the march, they are coming in here. But we would request everybody, because other people, instead of watching from here, they want to be outside. And it's disorganizing us inside. I must commend your discipline for at least this 10 minutes that I'm having listening to me. In the meantime, as we are waiting, because when we sing the national anthem, when they sing the national anthem, I will ask you to rise. Mayor is inspecting the parade. We are about to sing the national anthem there.
Size apha i-leadership kamasipala sizojonga into yoba i-call center le yethu isebenza kanjani ukuthatha izikhalazo zabahlali, njengoba abahlali befowuna apha befowunela imicimbi efana nokujonga ii-accounts zabo okanye befowunela imicimbi efana nokuziswa kweenkonzo. Siyavuya kakhulu kodwa sicinga uba sinokwenza nangaphezulu kokuba sisenza ukuqinisekisa into yoba abahlali bayazifumana iinkonzo abazifunayo. Ndikhe ndabamba nam umnxeba ovela komnye wabahlali efuna uqonda ngenkqubo yokubhatalwa kwe-akhawunti yakhe. Sathetha savana kodwa sicinga uba out of this simele uba senze ngakumbi ukuqinisekisa into yoba sinalo nolunye uhlobo olufana neWhatsApp for abahlali bakwazi into yoba bathethe direct nathi basibonise afonte umntu i-service delivery challenge anayo ayithumele apha so that we can respond. Silapha kwaMajali sizodeliverisha izindlu kubantu bakuthi njengoba sizimisele ukubasebenzela. Nansi indlu sizoyinika umama uMamsukwini uchulumance kakhulu njengoba silapha nje.
Ndiyabulela torho okokuqala kuba indlu bendihlala kuyo ibisoyikeka nasebusuku kwakufuka umoya funeke ndifudukile ndodlala ekhaya kumama. Ndizibone ke ndiziva ngcono ngoku namhlanje xa ndifumana indlu ndanikwa izitshixo. Ndilala kamnandi okokuqala ndiqale ndayiphupha laa ndlu ngathi ndihleli kuyo. Wathi gqizite nazazogalela. Siyabulela kakhulu ngokungazenzisiyo kangoba bendicinga nokusenda ibhubhile ndingayazi abantu abazongcwaba bazawungena ndawoni na xa bazondingcwaba. Bendinezo zinto ngolo xesha ukuyeke ndiziwaleni.
at the fire department of Buffalo City Metro. We are here to take delivery of 2 brand new fire engines that were delivered today. This is the 3rd one now during this period since we came in. The purpose of this is to ensure that our people are safe. We are able to respond on time in case of disasters. That's the purpose. This is the state-of-the-art infrastructure that we're delivering to the people of Buffalo City.
The 2 vehicles will assist us on improving the service delivery because now we have a problem with the old fleet which is aging. when we receive this one, it will be a great relief because now we'll be able to send others for repairs. And then when the old fleet is back, then we can use the older fleet as a backup fleet.
Sizolayitela abahlali apha kwa-24 umbane njengoba sasilapha ngaphambili sihamba nokhansila uGajula ukhansila wendawo. Iprojekti iqhuba kakuhle, siye happy nabo abahlali bayavuya kakhulu.
Siyavuya kakhulu nathi kuba kudala siwulindile lo mbane sihlele emnyameni ngoku ndiqalile phezulu ukubona kulayitile esitratweni sahamba sikhululekile.
I-different inye kuba ngoku sihlele kukhanyeni bekade siqhekezelwa abotsotsi bethatha izinto zethu ngobusuku ngoku sizombona utsotsi.
size apha i-leadership kamasipala sizojonga into yoba i-call center le yethu isebenza kanjani ukuthatha izikhalazo zabahlali njengoba abahlali befowuna apha befowunela imicimbi efana nokujonga ii-accounts zabo okanye befowunela imicimbi efana nokuziswa kweenkonzo. Siyavuya kakhulu kodwa sicinga uba sinokwenza nangaphezulu kokuba sisenze ukuqinisekisa into yoba abahlali bayazifumana iinkonzo abazifunayo. Ndikhe ndabamba nam umnxeba ovela komnye wabahlali efuna uqonda ngenkqubo yokubhatalwa kwe-akhawunti yakhe. Sathetha savana kodwa sicinga uba out of this simele uba senze ngakumbi ukuqinisekisa into yoba sinalo nolunye uhlobo olufana neWhatsApp for abahlali bakwazi into yoba bathethe direct nathi basibonise afonte umntu i-service delivery challenge anayo ayithumele apha so that we can respond. Sizolayitela abahlali apha kwa-Ward 24 umbane njengoba sasilapha ngaphambili sihamba nokhansila uGajula ukhansila wendawo. Iproject iqhuba kakuhle siye happy nabo abahlali bayavuya kakhulu.
Siyavuya kakhulu nathi kuba kudala siwulindile lo mbane sihlele emnyameni ngoku iqalile phezulu ubona kulayitile estratweni sahamba sikhululekile.
I-different inye kuba ngoku sihlele kukhanyeni bekade siqhekezelwa abatsotsi bethatha izinto zethu ngobusuku ngoku sizombona utsotsi.
uzosenzela umthandazo no uReverend Blakey noMr Mpahla.
Christianity, ne? Naban?
Blakey, Nkolokantu, mhla uRay,
Ba?
uRay Mpahla.
Mhm.
Yes. And then iHindu uzocela omnye we-alimdati asenzele.
Oh.
Baqala ngabo, qala ngoBlakey lo kwasisikhulu sabo abayi-2.
Ibanjalo idla ngokugqilela. Muslim. Kubanian?
Zawabacela ngoku.
No problem.
Zawubiza uSodolo phambili mhlawumbi sibacele bahlale phantsi abantu. Kukho icimi abantwana base-Uvuyo sibikho abaphanga.
Abasento?
Base-Uvuyo that wanted to come.
Iview.
Uvuyo High School. They came to watch proceedings, bafunde educationally.
Okay.
And then kukho the Molulu Deputy Chairperson of Legislature,
Kubanian.
Deputy Chair of Chairs.
Okay.
Mkhana ngimbiza uDolo ukuthi ngibaleke ndize nabanye.
Okay.
Abantu ngabona. Uzabana ba-acknowledge
Angengena kuhlekazi, ne? Can I request that everybody just remain seated, please? We will be starting very soon. Can we now all rise to receive the executive mayor? The Chief Whip of Council, Councillor Mahata. Members of the Mayoral Committee, leadership, honorable guests, we are now about to start with our formal session of the day. And then as we do so, I will now request religious leaders to please come forward and proceed with the interfaith prayers. I would request that they all come to the fore, and I will just indicate as to who start first. First, it will be the Muslim, the Hindu, Inkolo Yakwantu, and Christianity. I'm given names: Christianity, Reverend Blakey; Inkolo Yakwantu, umfundisi uRay Mpahla. And I have not yet received from the Hindu. They will indicate as they come. But I know that Muslim is Mr. Ali Ibrahim Mohammed. And Hindu is Mr. Guruji Gopal Vyas. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. I now allow the Hindu to proceed with the prayer.
Thank you, Program Director, who is also the Speaker of the House, Utatu Alfred Umtsi. Let me start upon greeting the number one man in the House, who is the Honorable Councillor Tata Uxola Phakathi, and all the protocol observed. I would like to greet you in the name of Allah, which is started by our Prophet Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. That says in Arabic, وَالسَّلَامٌ عَلَى مَنِ اتَّبَعَ الْهُدَى. And it means, and peace upon those who follow the guidance. Before I begin my prayer, I just want to thankful, South Africa, it's a Muslim country. And I will remind you, the global man, Tatu Rolihlahla Mandela, said we are not free, as it is the beginning faith that opened the session. I would like, therefore, to tell South Africans that it is a home of a Muslim, it is a home of everybody. That is why we don't have bombs and attacks in our country. South Africa also showed Muslims that when Donald Trump signed the city to be in Jordan, Minister Lindiwe Sisulu, who led the Ministry of International Relations, had ordered its embassy to quit out. That is something known by the Muslims around the world. Fellow members who are in the house, I would like just to quote 2 or 3 in every religious. When God bestowed you a mandate or a power, it is either you please God or either you disobey God. And I have 2, the great caste man who is known as Pharaoh, God bestowed him a leadership and all manpower, but he disobeyed. And Prophet Solomon, whom even the ants spoke to him, ants is in Bovana, in Xhosa, spoke to him, he showed a please and surrender and submit to his God. Fellow members in the house, Islam means submission to the will of God, who is Allah. Submission to the will of Allah. And when you submit yourself to Allah, you have to comply with 7 conditions. Islam is built on top of 5 pillars. The first pillar is the oneness of Islam, the pillar of testimony, which we call Shahada. Shahada has 7 conditions. And I think if we all apply all these 7 conditions, whether we are the president of the country or being the street committee, we can all have peace around us. Number 1 condition is knowledge. When we seek knowledge, we will know what is wrong and what is right. Number 2 is certainty. When we have certainty, we will become a believer. Number 3 is truthful. When we become a truthful society, we will have no harm within ourselves. Number 4 is acceptance. When we accept God, we will respect and uphold all the Constitution, irrespective of what. When we have submission, we will submit all will to God, so we will do whatever is pleased by God. And when we become a sincere, which is condition number 6, is when you show a sincere, you will show respect to everyone. And when the last condition is love of God. When we love God, we will love ourselves, we will love neighbors, we will love people who are with us, we will love whoever is neighboring. Therefore, Honorable Member, Sotolobi, Tigumema namhlanje, that the power God bestowed on you, be sincere, and you are already a sincere to Buffalo City Metro District. I will conclude with my prayer, which Allah told us in Muslim that we should pray this way. And I will say it in English. I will first say in Arabic and then I'll say in English. The prayer is this. Allahumma Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. It says this in English. Oh Allah, give us all good in this life. Oh Allah, give us all good in the life hereafter, which is death. And it says, oh Allah, save us, save our flesh, save our body, save our spirit from the severe punishment that is of hellfire. I conclude with my words, Amen.
Thank you very much. I just forgot to indicate that due to time constraint, this session will be broadcast live. We have a challenge of time. We allocated only 3 minutes for our interfaith leaders. Thank you very much. The Hindu, do we have anyone from Hindu? If none, and Inkolo Yakwantu.
Ndiyacamagusha yakude le nto imfutshane. Ndiyacamagusha, ndiyathokozisa kwizihlwele zonke ezikhoyo apha phezu kolwandle lakuGombo. Ndivumeleni kuqala ndizazise uthe umhlali ngaphambili xa ebiza wabiza uRay Mpahla. NdinguMary igama, ndingubhokolo ifani kaBhistoli. Ndizinkomo zikaMdange, zikaTshiwo, zikaPhalo, zikaRharhabe, zikaTogu, zikaMxhosa, zikaZanzolo, zikaNkosiyamntu, zikaMalangane. Ndiyazalwa intombi yaseNgqeleni kwaNdamase. Nkomo zikaThahla, zikaNdayini, zikaZiqelekazi, zikaNgqungqushe, zikaHlamba Ngobende. Ndiyacamagusha. Ndivumeleni bethunani xa ndikule ndawo ndizomela inkolo yakwantu okokuba ndimemeza amathamba lelukuthula. Ndimemeze ndiwashukumise okokuba ngelanga lanamhlanje abheke asijonge. Ndivumeleni okokuba ndimemeze ufafolude oluvele lingilane London. uMadiba ndithi ngudlomo ngisopitsho nguyemimi ngungqolomsila. Kuvele bambhentsele lihambe lendevu lakwamthikaka elabona abafazi bephumile beyotheza. Ndiyacamagusha. Ndimemeza bethu neningizime enyakatho empumalanga entshonalanga, ndimemeza amathongo onke esinawo emzimbeni, ndimemeza amandawo amandika amanzunzu, ndiyamemeza. Ndithi kwi-stakeholders zonke abantu abakhoyo apha usodolophu ekhona uspika ekhona mabasivumele xa simemeza amanyanga asemakhaya. Sicela ukukhululeka bethuna, sicela ukuviwa. Xa ndishukumisa amathambo ndithi kule nkqubo yanamhlanje okanye kwesi simemo sisifumene singamagqirha sanamhlanje amanyanga zashukuma zasibheke zikuthi xa kufuneka kukho inkqubela ebheka phambili izibe khona. Andifuni uthatha ixesha elide, ndinesisu eside mna benza uthetha kuvokotheke. Camagwini.
Sebulela, thank you very much, Mama. Sizawucela the Christian faith. Fundisi Ublegi.
Come, let us pray. Masithandaze. O Thixo uyise, uThixo unyana, uThixo umoya oyingcwele. Bawethu osemazulwini, yise wenkosi yethu engu Yesu Kristu. In these ill hours of this morning, we bow our heads before thy throne. Sibulela ukuba wena sizidalwa zakho, wena ungumdali wethu. Before kubekho thina Thixo wethu kwakusenyanyeni, umoya wakho wafukame phezu kwamanzi. Wathi kuba wena ungumdali wathetha ngezwi kwenzeka. Kanti Thixo wethu uzawubeka umntu uzityale emntwini wakho. Wamnika Thixo wethu ubukhosi negunya okokuba naye athethe ngezwi kwenzeke. Ngoba silandela uThixo othetha ngezwi kwenzeke. Silapha sizomamela mkhonzi wakho isicaka sakho sonyulileyo ngoba nguThixo owenyula umuntu abe mnye ngexesha. Vula indlebe zethu, phangalisa ingqondo yethu. Sinika ubulumko enhliziyweni ngoba Thixo uzawuthetha emveni bethethile kwenzeke. Embrace this occasion ukuze Thixo wethu ekugqibeleni kuphuhle kubonakale ubuthixo bakho. For thine is thy kingdom, thy power and thy glory, now and forevermore. Amen.
Thank you very much. Siyabulela kakhulu kwiinkokheli zemveli ngalo mthandazo. The message is one because God is one. Thank you very much. We now moving to the next item of our agenda, our program. Maybe to assume that we all know that we are here gathering today in order to observe, to listen, to honor the presentation of the State of the City address by the Executive Mayor of Buffalo City, which is a constitutional requirement, also informed by a variety of legislations that govern the local government sphere, that every year at this time, as we're about to begin the financial year, like it happened in national, state of the nation, in the province, state of the province, and in local municipalities, we are expected through the leadership of the mayor to listen to the state of the province, of the metro, of the municipality, which is a metro. We have done the welcoming to all of you present as we are about to invite the executive mayor. Allow me to honor the executive mayor, Councillor Xola Phakathi. His better part in his life, who is the First Lady of Buffalo City, Ms. Zandi Phakathi, unkosikazi wakhe. The Chief Whip of Council, Councillor Mawetu Makhata, the religious leaders present here, I may not know them by name. We acknowledge them. Traditional leaders present, I have observed representatives from the Khakhabe Great Place, led by Prince Benz Namashe. Anoloiso. 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 I've also observed the Khoisan leadership present here. We also wish to acknowledge members of the Mayoral Committee of Buffalo City present and all councillors of Buffalo City present, and councillors who may not be from Buffalo City who have come here to honor this very important occasion, mayors and speakers, chief whips from other municipalities who are present amongst us. We acknowledge you. The staff of Buffalo City, led by the city manager, Mr. Andile Sihlahla, you are all as well acknowledged. We take the opportunity as well to acknowledge our distinguished guests, whether in the form of the special guests of the executive mayor. I've observed the Deputy Speaker from the Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature, Honorable Mlibo Koboshiane, amongst us. You're welcome, sir. We wish also to acknowledge the presence of institutions of higher learning who are present amongst us. I have observed WUSU. I also mistakenly observed the University of Fort Hare because I saw Councillor Mhlola wearing a blazer from the University of Fort Hare. Ndiyazi ayinxitywa nje ke la blazer. May I as well take the opportunity to acknowledge all ward committees present. The Vice Chancellors, as I indicated, from all universities invited. The business fraternity, I'm told, NAFCOC is present. I'm told the Boracay Chamber of Business as well is present. I'm told the BCMTA board members are also present, led by the chairperson, Mr. Tembinkosi Bonakele. The IDZ board members present, and I'm told the CEO, Mr. Kondlo, is as well present. Ladies and gentlemen, may I also acknowledge the presence of Iviwe students from Iviwe High School who consciously took a decision to be part of this very important session as part of learning on their part. Thank you very much. You are the leaders of tomorrow. You are indeed welcome. Others, honorable councillors, our guests, I may not have mentioned everybody. I will get the list as we proceed. The list is too long. I'm also informed that Jamil Kubeka is also here, who is a Tanzania filmmaker who has been recently nominated for South African Television Awards. We are proud of you. We also acknowledge the presence of Clayton Ribbo, the award-winning wine maker. He was named the 2018 Diners Club South Africa Winemaker of the Year. Amongst us, we also have Mr. Mtobi Maklatana, or Maklatana, who is the businessman that assists ex-convicts and drug addicts to regain a place in society and lead positive life. You're welcome, sir, so that we enjoy a crime and drug-free society through employment creation. We also acknowledge the presence of Pumeza, or Mrs. Pumeza, or maybe it's Mr., Mrs. and Mrs. Pumeza Teshemba from Afri Waste, who is the CEO from Afri Waste. May we take the opportunity as well to acknowledge the local boy, Azinga Fuzile from Duncan Village, who is the International Boxing Federation title challenger, whose fight against the IPF junior lightweight champion Malcolm Klassen in East London was recently named the IPF Continental Africa Fight of the Year. We also acknowledge the presence of Bianca Wood, who is the grade 12 pupil from Clarendon, recently selected for the South African women's hockey team. We also acknowledge the presence of Mtungwa Mapansela from Selborne College, and who has been awarded a 2020 bursary to attend the Sharks Academy in Durban. We also acknowledge the presence of Kinen Groep. Kinen Groep, a special needs swimmer from Breibach. And Kinen won a bronze medal in the 25-meter freestyle swimming event at the Special Olympics World Games Abu Dhabi in 2019. We lastly also acknowledge the presence of Professor Willie Tavazwa China Murindi from the University of Fort Hare, East London branch, who has been recently named one of South Africa's top lecturers by the Council on Higher Education and the Higher Education Learning and Teaching Association of Southern Africa. Professor Chinyamurindi of the University of Fort Hare is one of the only 3 recipients of a 2018 National Teaching Excellence Commendation. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Without, as I indicated, we will be able to acknowledge others as we proceed. We will now come to the business of the day. At this moment, I feel honored to invite to the podium His Excellency, the Honorable Executive Mayor and Councillor from Buffalo City Metro Municipality, Councillor Ola Anderson Pagati, to come and present the State of the City Address.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, who is driving our program today, Councillor Alfred Skutamtsi, members of the Provincial Executive, Deputy Speaker of the Provincial Legislature, and members of the legislature present. Deputy Executive Mayor, Councillor Matana, in absentia. Chief Whip of Council, Councillor Mahata, members of the Mayoral Committee, fellow councillors, mayors present, and mayors from our sister municipalities, Kingdom of Khakhabe, represented by Prince Benz Namashe, and the entirety of the traditional leadership present. Leadership of political parties represented in council. I've also seen my organization, the officials of the Regional Executive Committee of the African National Congress. I acknowledge your presence. City manager and the entire management, religious leaders, business leaders, organized labor, and civil society. Members of the media, progressive formations and fellow residents, vice chancellors and academia present, distinguished guests and dignitaries, comrades and friends, colleagues, citizens of our metro, watching and listening to this address from various media platforms, receive my humble greetings. It is an honor for me to be standing before you to present the State of the City address for our metro. I'm saying this mainly because carrying the responsibility of leading the implementation of your city and your country's vision is the most honorable task that can be given to an activist and a patriot. When I woke up this morning, Honorable Speaker, I remembered one Vietnamese revolutionary and a politician that I admire most, who was also an activist and a patriot of the Vietnamese people and their cause. In one of his many addresses to the party cadres, when faced with great trials and tribulations in their quest for self-determination and the difficulties that faced them at the time, he once said, and I quote, "Remember, the storm is a good opportunity for the pine and the cypress to show their strength and stability," end quote. Excuse me. This, of course, requires that we understand what Ho Chi Minh meant and how it relates to our context as citizens and patriots of our country and city. The storm is a symbol of great test for us as a people. The pine and cypress in the context is represented by us, the different role players in the important task of bringing about progress and development in our different areas of responsibility. The strength of a people and their institutions can only be tested during the trying times. The environment in which we pursue the goals of bringing about a better life for our people, building a resilient city that has the capacity to address the challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequality, is a challenging environment. Our stability and strength will certainly be tested in the crucible struggles towards the attainment of the goals and expectations of the people. This is why I have chosen to anchor this year's State of the Nation address on the theme, growing our economy, a city hard at work. A city hard at work. We derived this from our national government's action statement that we should work to grow South Africa together. This is our way of making a firm indication that we are growing Buffalo City, working hard and in tandem with all the relevant stakeholders of our metro. Ladies and gentlemen, we have no choice but to continue to implement our vision of changing our city for the better. It is a given that we come from varied backgrounds, both currently and in the political history of our country. But it is also a fact that we share the same objective of growing our city and our country for the better. We are now on the 4th year since the adoption of our Metro Growth and Development Strategy. The Metro Growth and Development Strategy, which was collectively created by the citizens and stakeholders of our city. It is essential that I remind you that our rationale for having this strategy was to ensure that it is a common plan for the growth and development of our metro. The MGDS and the actions we are taking in implementing it are building blocks towards the achievement of the future South Africa that was imagined by President Ramaphosa in the occasion of the State of the Nation address last month. Within the spirit of Kauleza, we are actively building our metro into that prosperous city that was visualized by President. Through the implementation of our strategy, we'll see a Buffalo City Metro that is economically productive, spatially transformed, globally connected, green, safe, and well-governed. The strategic priorities of the MGDS fully align with the National Development Plan Vision 2030 and to the Provincial Development Plan. While we accept that conditions are economically tough, we are very confident that working together, we can fend off uncertainty that is prevailing. It is true that the world is now characterized by growing competition among global cities and city regions for the attraction of the new investments and the retention of the existing investors. This is an objective reality, but we are trying to create solid partnerships with a number of cities across the world as a strategy of mitigating its impact. This is why we appreciate our good relationship with the Swedish city of Gävle and the city of Oldenburg in Germany. It is also the reason for our enhanced social and economic cooperation with the Chinese cities, such as Jinhua, Qinangdao, and Hubei district. Tonight, I will be welcoming an inbound delegation from China of 27 members, the biggest delegation ever to visit our city on an official visit. Excuse me. 19 members of the delegation are business representatives from different economic sectors, such as film, television, manufacturing, mining, renewable energy, high-tech industry, to mention just a few. I have extended an invitation to our stakeholders to join me when we receive this delegation for purpose of pairing some of our local stakeholders with the Chinese counterparts. We have been in constant engagements with our business sector in the past few months. I will elaborate later on some of the detail. In addition to this, we are confident that the natural endowment and the institutions that are present in our city create a perfect case for the mobilization of major investments. There is no denying that Buffalo City is an under-tapped well of opportunity, with many business cases that are yet to be fully exploited. We are working to further improve the value offering for our city for investors through a combination of infrastructure improvements and incentives. We have realized, that investment attraction and retention require more than bankable business concepts. It is our experience that collective political leadership and persistent lobbying is a necessary method to attract more investment, particularly that which is leveraged through interventions of state-owned companies. To this end, I've been in discussion with the Presidential Special Envoy for Investment Promotion, Mr. Mcebisi Jonas, who was a special guest in the mayoral Lekgotla I had convened last year, and he addressed us on the constraints and opportunities for our city to attract investment. For some time, I did not understand what the investment envoy does until he came and explained. Now we know. We will intensify this engagement with the special envoy and state-owned entities board members. I believe that it is time for all the stakeholders of Buffalo City and the Eastern Cape to work together to ensure that their participation in the democratic processes of our country is followed by the necessary investments. It is our duty to make democracy more meaningful, as we are to demonstrate. Our municipality will create the suitable governance environment that is necessary to earn us better credibility for the location of major investments. Our budget framework. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathering at a very concerning period for South African economy, with growth focus having been recently revised downwards from 1.5% to 0.7% for this year. Excuse me. Tax revenues have also been revised down and gross debt has not yet stabilized. There is therefore no doubt that the fiscal consolidation framework will continue beyond the medium-term revenue and expenditure framework in order to avoid a ratings downgrade. Rating downgrade, there are people called Standard and Poor. Standard and Poor is one of those entities that are deciding which grade and which country is eligible to. They are in America. The grading agencies are in America. This is not a crisis for our city, but it means that we should begin to stand more on our feet by strategically utilizing our own revenue base in a manner that attracts investment and furthers development. In the State of the Nation address last month, Premier Cyril Ramaphosa recommitted his government to the program of growing the South African economy through restoring integrity and fixing economic fundamentals. While the economic situation is currently bleak, there is all evidence that the leadership we have has the capacity and zeal to grow investment confidence in our country's economy. Yes, masiqhubele lo ndawo. The President has set an investment target of 1.2 trillion rand in fixed investment over 5 years, which cities are expected to contribute the lion's share of this investment. We have thus decided to fully align with this objective and ensure that we attract even more investment into our city. The budget for our metro in this current financial year is designed such that it lays a basis for our strategy of attracting investment, building socio-economic infrastructure, and growing our revenue base. We are thus fully implementing a reprioritized budget framework which focuses on infrastructure and aims to contain costs on things we can do without. The total budget adopted by Council is 37.5 billion rand over the medium-term revenue expenditure framework period, with 8.7 billion of this allocated for the current financial year. 7.12 billion of this budget is going to be spent on capital and operating projects, giving a decisive boost to the city's infrastructure. The key priorities of the budget are water and sanitation, roads and stormwater, human settlements, development, transport infrastructure, and electricity. We have deliberately focused the budget on a mix of social and economic infrastructure investments. We continue to keep our expenditure budget at reasonable and affordable levels. That is why we are deliberately reducing the amount appropriated to the capital budget from our own funding, due to our application of cost containment measures. We have reduced the amount allocated to general expenses. We are happy to report that we are not a city in debt. We are not a city in debt and financial strain. Currently, our borrowing is at 36% of total revenue, which is way below the ceiling of 45% that is set by National Treasury and the rating agencies. Thank you. And the rating agencies have continuously given our city's finances a clean bill of health. At some point, it was written in the newspapers. At some point, it was written in one of the local newspapers that we are a cash-strapped municipality. We have 500,000 in our account. And throughout that week, everybody was in my case. And I had to explain over and over again that we have 1.3 billion in savings. Our budget is within the spirit of avoiding overburdening already stretched ratepayers, and this has been clearly balanced with the need to ensure maximum development in our communities. Excuse me. As a result, with the exception of electricity, we have kept our tariff increases to a single-digit percentage. The sewage tariff increase is 9.4%. We will reduce this to 5.4% in the 2021-22 financial year. Property rates have been adjusted by 9%, and this will reduce to 5.4% in 2021-22 financial year. Refuse removal is increased by 9.45%, and this increase will reduce to 5.4% in 2021-22 financial year. The water service charge has increased by 9.4%. The electricity tariff has increased. Tariff has seen increases of 13.7%, and this was arrived at using the NERSA guidelines. These are necessary to enhance the revenue of the city in order to give us capacity to implement more socio-economic projects, which will stimulate our economy, thus enhancing the quality of life for our citizens. As an attempt to cushion the poor and vulnerable against inflationary pressures, we have increased the basic welfare package for households that qualify in terms of our indigent policy by 9.76%. This means 527 rand 8 cents worth of services that will be received by indigent households every month. Honored guests, allow me to indicate that preliminary figures for the last financial year show that we have spent 87% of our capital budget, and we have achieved 100% expenditure on grant funding portion of it. This funding includes the additional 200 million that we received in April for infrastructure development. Through enhancing our planning, we will ensure that systems are in place for more efficient expenditure of the capital budget that we have just allocated. The Council of our Metro was recently provided with detailed business plans for all annual and multi-year projects that are to be implemented. It is, however, important for me to indicate that we are not going to do so. What we are not going to do is to create a culture where the budget is hastily spent through unexplainable deviations due to a fear of public backlash that we might be slow in spending. Our goal is to ensure that all our processes are above board and that there is value for money in any expenditure that we occur. As an active step of improving our expenditure, we have set aside 80 million rand over the MTRF for the procurement of an enterprise resource planning system, with the initial stage focusing on supply chain management and asset management. This will lead to the automation of supply chain management process and contracts management to improve efficiency and turnaround time of procurement processes. Kwamaphepha alahleka pha kwi-files. Xa ingenguye lo ufunwayo, pha kwi-tender, amaphepha alahleka pha efayilini. So we've got to address that. We've got to address that. Xa ingulo ufunwayo, onke amaphepha akhona pha. So we've got to address that. Siyayazi Mosland. It will also evolve our asset management activities into a comprehensive standard-driven management approach across all facets of the metro. We are also implementing a revenue enhancement strategy, which is aimed at improving our collection rate and reducing debtors book. As a result of the electricity and water losses facing our city, the strategy focuses on installation of smart meters, temper detection and removal, and meter replacement. Our aim is to ensure that all meters are registered in the billing system and that customers are billed timeously and accurately for the consumption. We have to get that right so that we don't have people complaining about inconsistencies in our billing system. Related to the installation of smart electricity meters, we have completed a total of 6,200 business and residential postpaid meters thus far. And the installation program has moved to include smart prepaid residential meters. Our goal is to install 63,000 meters by the end of August next year. The monthly billing for the meters has already converted to smart devices, and we have seen improved consistency and accuracy as a result. We will also be beginning our smart water meter installation program in the current financial year. The above investment on automation and systems will assist the city in strengthening its control environment. It will also assist in addressing the concerns that were raised by Auditor General regarding water meters and will thus pave our way towards an unqualified audit opinion. Ladies and gentlemen, the Metro Growth and Development Strategy mandates us to create and maintain an inclusive and sustainable economic growth by targeting core productive sectors such as manufacturing, tourism, agro-processing, communications technology, the creative sector, construction and forestry. Our vision is that this will move us to a competitive economy, which will be mainly driven by world-class infrastructure, a robust public and private sector partnership framework, an industry-targeted skills base, and a conducive climate for investment. This is why we agree with the suggestion by Kaya Masholoku, who through our Facebook page advised that we need to focus on growing the economy and creating jobs. This suggestion is widely shared by many residents and stakeholders of our city. This is why we are moving with speed in finalizing our own investment strategy and incentives framework, which will now be subject to public consultation. We concur with our business sector that there is too much red tape in our systems. And through the investment strategy, we'll improve turnaround times in processing development applications. One of the objectives of the investment strategy is to make it easier to do business in the city. This administrative burden on business, particularly small businesses, will have to be reduced. We have also made progress in establishing our own investment center, which will provide investors with streamlined services to fast-track investment projects in the city. This center will complement the provincial investment one-stop shop that is being established in the city. We welcome the provincial one-stop shop announced by Premier Oscar Mabuyane in the State of the Province address, and see this as a critical coordinating mechanism around which our municipality, the East London ICC, provincial and national departments can develop a shared perspective on how to best attract and service investors in the city and the province. This will allow us to converge around agreed priorities, promote synergies, and avoid duplication. It will also enable us to speak with one voice when we engage with private sector and other key investors like state-owned enterprises. Our investment center will ensure that all referrals and blockages identified in the provincial one-stop shop get addressed with urgency. The investment center will also refer issues to provincial one-stop shop to ensure that they get addressed by relevant provincial and national departments. Here we will work closely with Invest South Africa to ease delays for investors in obtaining visas, licenses, permits, registration and approvals. We are also resolved in growing our economy in order to create required jobs. The partnership we have with the National Treasury and the World Bank on the sub-national cost of doing business project is bearing fruit, and a reform agenda has been developed. Excuse me. The implementation of this agenda will assist in reducing red tape, and it will improve efficiencies in processing building applications, property registrations, and electricity connections. We are also automating our process to derive efficiencies. In addition to this, we intend to reduce costs through an incentives framework, which part of our investment strategy. Our city already offers rates and tariff discounts for large investments that are above 50 million. We are looking at reducing the threshold investment so that smaller investors can also benefit. The incentive framework is in favor of specially targeted discounts as a tool of encouraging investment priority nodes in the city. As we mobilize investment, we will streamline and better mainstream youth development across the institution in order to ensure maximum impact to young people who are at the coalface of the unemployment. This is why we are continuing to implement the Harambee Employment Accelerator program, which is opening opportunities for many young people in the metro. Young people are our city's most precious asset as they drive the entrepreneurial spirit and form the base of the labor force. While we are pursuing these interventions, honored guests, we are proud to report that investment confidence in the city is already growing. The 10 billion Mercedes-Benz W206 investment consolidates and expands East London's role as an auto export hub. This time around, efforts have been made to deepen the impact with around 25 locally based component suppliers linked to the new model. The East London IDZ is continuing to spearhead investment attraction into the city, and as a shareholder, we are proud of its achievements. In the past 5 years, the IDZ has attracted 19 new investors with an overall investment of 4 billion rand. In the last financial year, 5 new investors were signed, and they brought in a combined 819 million into our city. In the current financial year, the East London IDZ is confident that 13 new projects will begin with a combined estimated investment value of 2 billion rand. This will create 1,300 new manufacturing and services jobs in the zone. The transition from an ITZ to a special economic zone has provided the East London ITZ with a comprehensive incentive package to attract investment. As we speak, the operations of investors at the East London ITZ have created 4,666 jobs. That's proving decisive in the fight against poverty and joblessness in our city. We are continuing to collaborate with the ECDC and the Department of Economic Development in revitalization of industrial areas in the metro, and these include Dimbaza for Jackson, Berlin, Wilsonia, and West Bank. Security and infrastructure and access to services has been greatly improved in these industrial parks. In our investment drive, we always impress upon companies to locate in these industrial areas that are in our townships as part of the township economy revitalization pillar of the Metro Growth and Development Strategy. Through our investment strategy, we are exploring the possibility of creating an incentive package for investors who are willing to locate in these areas, that's giving a boost to townships and rural economies. Siyakhawuleza. Siyakhawuleza. We continue to provide a basket of interventions for the support of our rural and subsistence economy. Our aim is to create a rural economy that promotes enterprise development in the manner that positively impacts on food security. Working with the Department of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform, we continue to assist communities in our rural areas with the construction of irrigation systems, provision of farming infrastructure and crops. The fresh produce market is one of the vehicles that we're utilizing to drive agricultural transformation and to unlock the potential of small-scale farmers. The market is exploring measures of including more previously disadvantaged farmers in the distribution of agricultural products. We are continuing to be the events and sports destination of choice through our successful hosting of major events and top-flight football games in our city. Events hosted in the last financial year contributed immensely to the economy of the city, more particularly the retail and hospitality industries. To give our tourism efforts a better coordination, we launched our tourism hub at the Orient Theatre, and it is already assisting to attract foreign and domestic tourists to our metro. As part of a stimulus to grow investment in our metro, we are busy implementing our major infrastructure projects, which will unlock new property development for private sector investment across our city while supporting our continued delivery of sustainable human settlements and improving the quality of life of our residents. Recently, the council of our metro approved a loan funding of 500 million for the implementation of the sewer tunnel diversion of Central Water Treatment Works to Ristin Water Treatment Works. That development is going to unlock development on the western side on the eastern side of the city. We have initially decided to decommission the Central Wastewater Treatment Works located in Amalinda due to non-compliance and proximity to residential areas. This will be a multi-year project which will see construction of sewer tunnel which will traverse underneath Scenery Park to newly refurbished Ristin Water Treatment Works. This project will provide the necessary support for new development in the metro, and it will also unlock new land development in Amalinda. In addition to this, we have allocated an overall budget of 672 million over the medium-term revenue expenditure framework for the upgrading of sanitation infrastructure and the provision of decent sanitation to the residents of the metro. We are also addressing sanitation backlogs, and we are currently constructing 3,300 VIP toilets in rural areas of our metro. Siyakhawuleza. We are implementing a number of projects that are intended to ensure consistent water supply to all resident stakeholders of our metro. Access to basic water supply here currently is at 98% in our city, and we're still investing more resources towards the improvement of this reality in the current financial year. We will be spending 82.5 million for the upgrading of our water infrastructure and improved provision of water to many residents in our city. In the few years, our metro will sometimes experience water challenges. We are consistent in providing communal water tanks and deliver water with mobile tanks where such necessity arises. We have recently procured 4 water tanker trucks for this purpose, and this will drastically reduce our hiring costs. While we have not experienced conditions of drought like in other regions, we urge our citizens to consume water sparingly. Singenzi laa nto siyenzayo phaa xa senza iwashing sivula impompo phaa iqhubele impompo siyoncokola phaa next to masibanibani yabona into ethile yabona utata kasibanibani kwenzeke oku noku amanzi ayaphuma phaa ngena evaskomini yaqonde la. We should not do that. We should use water sparingly. Through our consistent investment into our electricity infrastructure, I'm proud to report that City has one of the best performing electrical networks in this country. We're continuing to ensure consistent improvements in this regard, and since our arrival in office, we have successfully upgraded the electrical infrastructure in King Williamstown, East London CBD, Zwelicha, Wilsonia, Tanzania, East Bank, Pakamisa, and many other suburbs in the metro. In the current financial year, we will upgrade and refurbish the main 132 kilovolt substations and overhead lines and related networks. These are critical projects as this is the main electricity infeed into the city. Eskom has also confirmed that it will start the implementation of the Greater East London Electrical Network Strengthening Scheme later this year. This massive project will see the installation of a 40 kilometers, 400 kilovolt transmission power line running from Neptune substation outside East London to Pembroke substation near King Williamstown. It will also include the construction of 400 kilovolt feeder bays and transformer bays at both Neptune and Pembroke substation. This will be a multi-year project which will improve reliability of our electrical network and create the much needed employment during its construction stage. In the past year, we provided additional formal household electricity connections in Fynbos and Mdantsane NU6. In the current financial year, we have allocated 16 million for the electrification of 600 houses in Pakamisa South. Eskom is committed to electrify households in Ezizeni, Ngecha, Village 6, a greater portion of Emagazini, Digidigana, Udigidigana Lo Wasaqonce, Enkosini Msinzi, Enkosini Msinzi, villages and many other identified villages in the Buffalo City infill area, and in the current financial year, we are ensuring that no one is left behind in our development efforts. And as such, we are gradually rolling out informal settlement electrification projects across the city. In the last financial year, we electrified Kanana informal settlement. And just 2 weeks ago, we officially turned on the lights for the people of Kanana. Besibas Yamba Pants. Yes. We also installed the electrical network in the Sunny South. Sunny South, and we'll be finalizing consumer connection in the current financial year. We will be electrifying Mzamomhle and Kwitinja. With the availability of the budget permitting, we will electrify other informal areas once layout plans have been finalized. In the current financial year, we have committed 18 million for the electrification of informal settlements in our metro. But also we're chasing a moving target. We're chasing a moving target because of challenges of inward migration. Here we have 154 informal settlements. And the proliferation of informal settlements arises out of the fact that when our people are not able to create sustainable livelihoods for themselves in the villages, automatically they will migrate. And when they come here, when they are here, we have an obligation as the city, a constitutional obligation, to provide for them services. So we have to electrify them while we are awaiting a process of building formal houses for them. So there's no time where we will come to the end of our development trajectory, because development is inherently not static and it follows an upward trajectory. So we may have to understand one another and where we come from with these matters. During the current financial year, we have overall budget for 102 million for the provision of electricity in our metro, with 60 million of this going to be spent on bulk electricity infrastructure upgrades. It is important to note that access to electricity for formal houses in our metro sits at 100%, and we are working to ensure that newly constructed houses come with electricity. Eyona nto besifuna uba ingasehlela kukuba umuntu xa inikwa indlu funeka anikwe indlu nombane same day, inombane namanzi, yonke laa nto on the same day. Le nto yofakela abantu izindlu ezinamanzi, umbane siwufakela 6 months later, it does not augur well with our development trajectory. We have to address that. People must get houses with all the necessary facilities. Ladies and gentlemen, we are determined to achieve spatial integration in our city through decisive prioritization of our catalytic urban development program areas. We are making visible investment in the inner city, and our intention is to improve the quality of the area, which would in turn strengthen investor confidence and growth, with the aim of attracting more investment in our CBD. The Slipper Side project, which will see creation of a massive civic precinct, remains a major anchor project for our inner city revitalization. The council of our metro has recently mandated BCMDA to shop for various methods of funding the Slipper Side project. To create fertile ground for the project, we will soon be constructing the city-to-city boulevard road. And the contractor has already been appointed for this purpose. No? Yes. Yeah, thank you. We have also tasked our development agency to unlock private property investment on the beachfront through the Water World and Court Crescent projects. The physical implementation of this project will start this financial year, and we have allocated a combined initial amount of 63 million for this purpose. Yeah. We are convinced that these two projects will enable more private sector investment into our beachfront and broadly our inner city region. The reality is that the project looks set to add value in decisively strengthening the city's position as an attractive destination for tourists and holiday makers. We have recently approved the sale of land for development of Buffalo City campus of Walter Sisulu University. This will be a major investment which will cause major boost in the property sector of our city. The campus will provide conducive and compact learning environment which will better integrate the program offerings of Walter Sisulu University. A decisive boost to the reputation and prestige of Walter Sisulu University will be very beneficial for our city. Honored guests, our Metro Growth and Development Strategy directs us to address spatial planning patterns. By providing adequate housing and affordable services in better living environments. This is why we have allocated an amount of 396 million for housing delivery in the metro. Yes. It should also be understood that this is also a moving target due to rapid urbanization of our city. We are, however, resolved that we will even make more impact as evidenced by the work that we have so far done in the provision of houses in our city. We are currently finalizing procurement for the construction of 2,870 houses for West Bank restitution. Amalinda Co-op, Potsdam, Kanana, and Ristin Phase 3 projects. We have provided internal services for 2,560 sites. In the previous year, the Provincial Department of Human Settlements constructed 1,523 housing units. In the current financial year, the province will build 1,680 houses for the residents of our metro. We are currently implementing Boxwood Housing Project, where we are resettling the entire Orange Grove informal settlement. This project is being implemented with the Provincial Department of Housing Settlements, and we are already installing engineering services for the first 800 housing units. Overall, the project will see close to 4,500 houses being constructed in the Boxwood area. So we're building a new township. We are finalizing negotiations with companies who will be responsible for the construction of 952 housing units in Ristin Phase 3, Stage 2. This is after the Constitutional Court ruling which declined ASLA's implementation of the project. ASLA will, however, complete the planning and implementation of the Duncan Village Housing Project, which will see construction of 5,000 housing units in Duncan Village. Together with the Housing Development Agency, we are finalizing the appointment of key consortiums to finalize the engagement of the implementation agents for Duncan Village. We will be purchasing land parcels for the relocation of incumbents from Duncan Village to assist with fast-tracking the Duncan Village housing project. We have started with the construction of the Ristin Multi-Purpose Centre, and it will be completed in this financial year. Our municipality and a number of government departments will be anchor tenants in the multi-purpose center. It is our vision that by 2030, all rural areas in our metro should be spatially, socially, and economically well integrated with improved access to basic services. This is why we are decisive in building houses and providing other amenities in our rural areas. I have recently launched the built-in village housing project where 620 houses are being constructed We have also appointed a contractor for the Potsdam Village Housing Project, where 500 houses will be built. 500 houses will be built. I'm happy to announce that due to the efficiency and effectiveness of our housing department, our municipality was voted as the best run metro in South Africa when it comes to human settlements delivery programs that are targeting. We are restoring the dignity of our people. This is a humbling pat on the back of our good work, and we have taken this as an encouragement for us to do better. Siyakhawuleza. We have also laid the groundwork for massive infrastructure and housing developments in many communities of our metro. We are finalizing the creation of 1,444 residential sites in Mzamomhle, Emajarantini, and Ward 45 Emajarantini, Nipak, Machen, Khayelitsha, Cambridge West. We have also carried out Tache surveys for the Cuba and Eluxolwen communities. In the current financial year, we will create 1,555 sites in Ginsberg, Kwachachu, Kutinja, Ilita Sports Field, Mpilisweni, Pola Park, Masbulele, and East Bank Restitution. The creation of these sites is a necessary build-up for infrastructure housing and housing development in these areas. These have also been designed in a manner that makes a positive impact in racial integration and mutual coexistence of low, middle, and high-income residential development. It is worth mentioning that in Mzamomhle and Cambridge, we have created 10 land parcels which are meant for high-density, high-rise residential development. We believe that this allows for efficient utilization of the land and would allow more people to benefit in the development. We are at an advanced stage in finalizing land acquisition for the housing project, which will accommodate beneficiary residents of both Nompumelelo and Duckets. Building human settlements closer to amenities and to where people work is essential for our municipality. And this is why we have become aggressive. We have become aggressive in dealing with the spate of land grabs in our metro. Kukwabantu hapa abathatha chance, abantu abangathathi ntweni. There are those who are preying on the vulnerable, selling municipal land to people who are desperate. Phaya Willow Park kukwindoda ekuthiwa nguDlamini pha. Ithengisa umhlaba kamasipalati nge-6,000. Sizamkhangela la Dlamini. Abhatala laba bantu la mali. But we are intolerant of land grabs. The people that are selling municipal land to desperate communities should be dealt with accordingly. Our people cannot fall prey to actions of syndicates who are hell-bent on exploiting the need for financial gain while undermining the property sector and the overall economy of our metro. We are not a banana state here. No, we are not a banana state. As an immediate intervention on this challenge, we have identified land parcels which are under threat of being invaded and have approached the High Court for a prohibitory court interdict. The order prohibits illegal allocation and construction of informal settlements on municipal land and in the identified areas in Park Ridge, Scenery Park, McLean Town, Brailin, and Dansana Unit 1. Our law enforcement services conduct periodical patrols on identified areas to eliminate any illegal occupation and to identify perpetrators. As a long-term measure, we are reviving the land management policy of our metro to ensure that there are clear and definitive assignment of responsibilities regarding land. The institutional arrangements will establish a clear framework for integrated coordination, strategizing and decision-making around land management in the municipality. We are confident that these efforts will drastically curtail the untoward habit of land invasion and unlawful occupation. Another related matter to this is the illegal occupation of houses at the detriment of the approved beneficiaries. Please stop this because it's a futile exercise. I want to take the opportunity to once more plead with the people of the city to not fall prey to the schemes of people selling land and houses. And we plead with them to report these devious acts in order to communicate the message that we are resolute in fighting the lawlessness that this brings to our city. We are unfortunate to obtain a court order for the demolition of the structures built in invaded land, and we also obtained an order to evict some people who illegally occupied houses in Pagamisa and Fynbos. Kwabana lo. Yes, we cannot celebrate lawlessness. We cannot celebrate lawlessness unless we are a banana state. The eviction of the illegal occupiers of houses must be celebrated. People must go through the due process for the acquisition of houses, like all other people. Yes. Yes. As a municipality, we also resolved to build sustainable human settlement for the people of the city with all the relevant amenities. It is our policy that all newly developed urban settlements should have waterborne sewage system and all other required internal services before top structures are constructed. This is to bring dignity to our people, guarantee their health, and ensure that they live fulfilling lives. Illegal occupation of land is an attempt to undermine these noble developmental objectives. And it is also a fundamental threat to the property sector of our city. As a forward-looking intervention, we have instructed the management of the municipality to explore the possibility of creating and selling affordable service sites for those residents of the metro who can afford to build their own houses. The proliferation of settlements such as Epongweni and the traction gained by Cove Rock new development makes this intervention a necessity going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, we are making decisive steps in achieving our objective of creating a globally connected city, which is predicated by an advanced overlay of transport and telecommunications network. In any modern economy, this is a key ingredient for long-term inclusive economic growth, universal access to social services, and the establishment of an efficient and equitable urban form. We are decisively attracting technological infrastructure investments that are set to position our city as a key ICT node for Africa in this era of the fourth industrial revolution. A truly catalytic investment in this regard is the Indian Ocean Exchange subsea fiber cable project, which will see the installation of 8,850 kilometers access ultra high-speed cable, which will connect Africa and the rest of the world. The cable will land in our city at the East London ICC through Mauritius and India. The impact of this project will be massive and unimaginable for our economy as a city and as a province. When it has been fully constructed, the cable will deliver internet connection speeds of 54 terabytes per second, making our city the main connectivity point between Africa and the rest of the world. This will clearly provide the people of our city with affordable and stable data around which a host of ICT-related dependent industries can flourish. This will also make us to achieve our vision of expanding access and affordability to communication technology and facilitate broadband access to all households. A project of this nature will dovetail into connectivity infrastructure that we have recently rolled out in our city. It will also enhance our project of providing high-speed Wi-Fi to the residents of our metro and to connect public service institutions to our broadband network. The Port of East London is a major critical asset that our city has in its quest for enhanced global connectedness. We already enjoy a close relationship with the port, and we're making steady progress in positioning it for major infrastructure investment aimed at boosting its capacity. The recently signed 5-year Memorandum of Understanding between our municipality, Transnet National Port Authority, and the East London Industrial Development Zone will give further impetus to this. While we're collaboratively working on improving its capacity, I'm proud to report that the port is already a vibrant trade gateway that is involved in all sectors of the economy and is stretching boundaries to meet the needs of industry. Not long ago, after welcoming the widest and the biggest vessels in the city's history in 2018, the record-breaking momentum continued at the start of this year with the successful docking of the longest vessel ever to call at the port. The port handled over 300 commercial vessels in the previous year, close to 60,000 containers, over 1 million kiloliters of liquid bulk products. It also saw a surge in break bulk volumes and handled more than 100,000 automotive units, including efficiently servicing the biggest car carrier ever to call at the port. The port is geared to support the city's positioning as a manufacturing hub, anchored by its strong automotive sector, and will play an important role in supporting the huge recent investments by Mercedes-Benz and other component manufacturers. By welcoming a growing number of cruise liners to the city, the port also provides boost for region's tourism sector. This is in addition to opening port waters for a number of water-related sporting events in support of our city's sports tourism strategy. This includes one of East London's biggest water events, the Buffalo Regatta, as well as Ironman, which take place at the port entrance. Ship repair remains an important aspect of the port strategy. Under government's Operation Pakisa program, various refurbishments are underway at the port's dry dock. Transnet will be soon replacing the existing Latimer's landing structure with a modern fit-for-purpose quayside leisure development that will be a premier tourist attraction for the benefit of the entire region. Phase 2 of the Latimas Landing development will focus on escalating the project to a fully fledged waterfront that contributes positively to the growth of city's tourism and leisure industry. The envisaged waterfront will contain a number of interesting features with water-based attractions, quayside restaurants, and coffee shops that will enliven and revitalize the area, drawing steady traffic into the precinct. Kwabana lo. I should remind you all the time going forward. These are our efforts in addressing the sentiments of our residents and stakeholders around Port, which are succinctly captured by Mr. Ayanda Matiti, who advised my Facebook that, and I quote, "We need to improve the capacity of our East London port for, among other things, to receive larger quantities of whatever items that are brought into our shores. That we will grow our local economy and create much needed jobs. It will also offer us an opportunity to diversify our port into a platform for multiple activities," end quote. We agree with this sentiment, and there's no doubt that the economy of not only our city, but Eastern Cape is largely reliant on the Port of East London. It is a necessity that we work together to make the business case for the expansion of the Port of East London. I therefore want to use this opportunity to call upon business and other relevant stakeholders of our city to support the cause for the development of our port. Thank you. Honored guests, the upgrading of our road network to the best standard is a critical step to achieving a truly connected city with a sophisticated interlay of various transport forms. Working with other state-owned institutions, we are massively investing in the upgrading and modernization of our road infrastructure so that it can be fully unleashed as one of our strategic logistical assets. In this regard, the South African National Roads Agency will be massively upgrading R63 up to the N6 intersection. And a budget of 650 million has been allocated for this purpose. In addition to this, an amount of 300 million will be spent over the next 3 years for the construction of dual carriageway of the N6 from the N2 intersection up to Ducketts Township. This will make N6 be an even more friendly and safe route to our province. We have now entered phase 3 of the Quinera Link Road, which will connect Beacon Bay and Konopi. Remember, at some point, our local newspapers wrote in its headlines that this is a road to nowhere. The Konopi-Quinera road that we're constructing, it was dubbed as the road to nowhere in the headlines of the local newspaper a long time ago. But also, to my surprise, the newspaper is now located there. Their offices, they have moved their offices from Caxton Street to the road to nowhere, Kwaban. The designs for all the other phases have been completed and will soon finalize the procurement phase of phase 4 of the project. We are confident that as the road is being constructed, more development will be unlocked in the land between Beacon Bay and Konopi. We are finalizing the Fleet Street and Oxford Street project. And already, Residents of our metro are enjoying an improved traffic flow in our central business district. The traffic cycle sayichitha pha safaka robots ngoba congestion in the morning and in the evenings. Because that traffic cycle was relevant in the past, but not now. I can confirm that the congestion caused by the construction works that Mr. Ian Radcliffe complained about in our social media is now a thing of the past. Imoto ziyabaleka nyani ngopha eFleet Street funa sithumele amagosa afake ispeed trap because indlela ingumthabalele. We are also decisively upgrading roads in many residential areas in our metro. And for example, the success of the project can be seen in Tanzania. In the current financial year, we've budgeted 87 million for road construction. We're also making a huge impact in the upgrade of our rural roads. And we will be spending 33 million in this regard. We have purchased our own road construction plant in order to build internal capacity and to consistently maintain our rural roads. In the previous year, we piloted the use of polymer for stabilizing some of the gravel roads in our rural areas. We will upscale this project in the current financial year, and this will be dependent on road condition and the availability of the budget. Our efforts of improving mobility for the people of our metro are also showed by our decisive investment in our public transport facilities. We have implemented decisive upgrades to the Taxi City rank, the Market Square bus rank in King Williamstown. Already, this has improved the flow of traffic in King Williamstown CBD, and a lot of space has been availed for other uses. The Kumza Highway upgrade remains one of the decisive flagship program in the creation of an integrated public transport system in our city. We are moving with speed in implementing this project with the intention of recovering lost time after we terminated the initially appointed contractor via Kumza Highway. Siyaqhuba. The replacement contractor is on site, and we have appointed 24 small and medium enterprises as subcontractors in the project for the benefit of the people of Mdantsane. Yes. The construction of road, railway stations, and other improvement of public transport facilities are aimed at the achievement of an integrated public transport system as envisaged by the MGDS. Last year, we finalized an integrated public transport network plan, whose aim is to create an efficient transport and logistical network for the benefit of all citizens and stakeholders in the city. Fellow citizens of our metro, on the 8th of March this year, the President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency President Ramaphosa, launched the Good Green Deeds program in our city. On the occasion of this launch, I vowed that we will heed the call of the President, and I made a statement that we will ensure that we keep our city clean and strive to reclaim our status as the cleanest city in South Africa. Yes. We are making a commitment that we will improve our environmental management efforts towards other good green deeds, such as waste minimization, diversion and recycling. We will focus our efforts on the beautification and greening of our areas in our metro. We will clean our coastline and protect it against all forms of pollution. This is what I said. And indeed, we want to clean the coastline. This is a commitment that we are going to see through. And I want to be the first to admit that we have historically had a challenge with waste management in our city. This was mainly due to incapacity insofar as the optimal fleet was concerned. And there is also a problematic work ethic among our refuse removal staff. I'm happy to announce that we have partnered with Mercedes-Benz in implementing an organizational culture change management project in the municipality. The aim of this project is to improve dedication, service and customer orientation among our staff, more particularly those dealing with refuse removal. We have also addressed the systematic challenges of for a sustainable future, which should see the city not only collecting refuse on time, but all the time. We are also engaged in the beautification efforts and enhancements of public spaces and public cemeteries. As a step of improving our waste management service, Council has approved the splitting of the Municipal Services Directorate into two. One will focus specifically on waste, while the other will focus on amenities, sporting infrastructure, and parks and cemeteries. I want to report here that our city is now operating optimal refuse removal fleet capacity throughout the metro. Waste is being collected day and night, regardless of whether the area is a suburb or a township. All ratepayers and indigent are receiving this service on time, all the time, currently. We are, however, working to improve this reality so that we reclaim our status of being the cleanest city in South Africa. In this regard, in the last financial year, we procured 20 refuse compactor trucks, 8 tipper trucks, 4 skip loader and skip trailers, trucks, and 3 TLPs for clearing of illegal dumping sites. We are now finalizing the procurement of street litter bins and waste skips for informal areas and commercial areas. These interventions will address the cleanliness concerns that residents continue to raise. The recently purchased waste management fleet is displayed outside. Siyakhawuleza. The fleet is displayed outside as stating and engabonakaliyo. We have reviewed our integrated waste management plan, and it now gives effect to our strategy of waste, recycling, reuse, and diversion from landfill. Already in the current financial year, we will begin the construction of a material recovery facility at the Round Hill landfill site. This means that when a refuse compactor truck arrives at the landfill site, all waste will start at the material recovery facility, and it will be sorted, and all waste that is reusable and recyclable would be recovered and further processed. Starting from October this year, we will be piloting a project whose intention is to deal with management of household hazardous waste. This will be done in partnership with the Swedish Environmental Protection Agency and the National Department of Environmental Affairs. Through the BCMDA, we have received an additional allocation of 9.2 million from the Department of Environmental Affairs as part of the war against litter. The project currently supports the employment of 199 young people here in our metro. In the true spirit of Good Green Deeds program, which calls on all stakeholders and citizens to participate in keeping South Africa clean. We are encouraged by the commitment by South African breweries of supporting the establishment of a black-owned buyback center in Tanzania to the tune of 3 million. Kwabana la. And SAP, 3 million will go a long way in dealing with waste-related matters and recycling. This is in addition to the good work by the Call to Action project, which is coordinated by the Bodakai Chamber of Business. We want to also thank the community of Haven Hills, led by Pastor Plakis, for coordinating a massive cleanup campaign of the area as part of responding to the call to clean the city. I call upon the members of the mayoral committee and business to join this initiative tomorrow. We are calling on all our citizens and stakeholders to continue playing their part in ensuring that our city is clean and green. Let us make this habit and conduct to go viral in our city and province. Ladies and gentlemen, through our social media platforms, we were advised by Leslie and Foster, Mzima Simhlola, Dedri Duplessis, and many other residents of the metro that we should prioritize the fight against crime and gender-based violence, ensuring the safety of the citizens and stakeholders of our city. This has been one of our key priorities of improving the quality of life for our residents while building investment confidence in our economy. Since our elections, we have installed CCTV cameras throughout our metro, and we can confirm that these are making a decisive impact on the levels of crime in our communities. Our observation is that in all the crime hotspots where the cameras have been installed, serious crimes have been drastically reduced. Due to our enhanced safety operations, which have been greatly aided by CCTV cameras, there was no rape or murder at the East London beachfront during the festive season. There has also been a reduction of robberies in highway and in the CBD, East London. We are, however, finalizing the integration of our CCTV cameras within the South African Police Service operations. This means that there will be members of the police in our control rooms ready to effect arrest immediately. This will happen as we wait for the final approval of our fully fledged Metro Police Service, which will decisively broaden our traffic services and law enforcement scope. We have reviewed and rationalized 11 municipal bylaws. Among them are bylaws on informal trading, dilapidated buildings, disaster management, heritage facilities, outdoor marketing, and installation of electronic communication facilities. These bylaws will be enforced by our bylaw enforcement, which will gradually transform into a Metro Police Service, and all disputes regarding them will be addressed in our municipal courts. In the coming weeks, I will be officially opening the Midland Municipal Court, which is located at the NU10 office, rent office. We are improving our firefighting capacity to the best standards so that we can be able to manage any form of fire outbreak in our metro. We have recently unveiled 2 additional fire engines thus taking our capacity to 8 operational major fire engines placed across the metro. We are also in the process of finalizing procurement of 2 major pumps, which will give the required boost to our capacity. Our investment in the improvement of our firefighting capacity is meant to protect our citizens and the property of the investors located in our city. Recently, our council approved a plan for the implementation of a parking management system for our metro. Moving from this, we have tasked our Public Health and Safety Directorate to explore feasible measures that will lead to a secure parking in our CBD. This will regulate motor vehicle use of the public parking spaces, thus creating a safer and appealing city center. Towards a well-governed, honored guests, we are making significant progress in achieving our objective of being a well-governed city. This is fundamental as increasing the speed of service delivery and development based on being a capable and credible local state with all the required systems. We are cognizant of the fact that for this to happen, there ought to be suitable levels of political leadership guided by the principles of good governance, which are founded in our legislation. There is therefore no doubt that the effective implementation of the projects that we have announced rely on the leadership of the institution having the credibility that is sufficient to garner the confidence of the public. Yes. Yes. In the comments that I receive from communities, I'm picking up that many residents of our city have appreciation of the fact that leadership elected in 2016 is beginning to make strides in changing the metro. Kwabane. However, they question the sustainability and the credibility of the process, whether we will not digress to a situation where we were in the past. I want to make Chief, can you roll this up, please? Where is this guy? Yes, they question if we will be able to sustain the credibility and not abate problematic things that were a significant feature of our recent past. I want to make a pledge that we will continue in our endeavors of ensuring that we clean the image of the municipality of any stain of corruption. We will strengthen our systems to be even more difficult for those who might be interested in performing acts of corruption. We will also jealously protect the institution. We will jealously protect the institution against individuals or parties who might be interested in capturing it for wrong ends. Yes. We urge our residents to join us in this quest by reporting all incidences of corruption and malpractices to our fraud hotline. There is no doubt that there exists a fundamental relationship between a well-governed and a well-managed institution. With the required commitment, we are resolved to make the management and all workers of the institution work even harder, faster, smarter, and corruption-free. At systemic level, We have already institutionalized risk management, and we have an audit committee that has a collegial relationship with the management of the institution. We are already implementing an audit improvement plan that is intended to address all the challenges that made us to receive qualified audit opinion. We are therefore continuing to build sound financial and administrative management through improving our institutional capacity, ethical culture and professionalism. We are finalizing the appointment of a fully fledged, fully employed Chief Financial Officer with the sole aim of furthering our work of cleaning our institution. We are making strides in creating the requisite performance culture in the organization by expediting the job evaluation process. We have improved our relations with the recognized trade unions in our municipality. We have moved in speed in addressing all the challenges that led to the industrial action which took place towards the end of last year. As we speak, the job evaluation process is progressing well, with 5 batches of results already having been approved and implemented. What we can confirm that the project is ahead of its revised targets. Yes. It is important for me to also report that for the first time ever, we have established a monitoring and evaluation unit which will be located in the office of the Executive Mayor, and the General Manager for this will begin work from the 1st of August 2019. This will give us capacity to better monitor progress or lack thereof on the implementation or non-implementation of our decisions, thus enhancing our performance. In agreeing with Viewers Dali, who wrote an open letter to me last week, this is one unit that needed to be established in order to give a further boost to our performance. So said Viewers Dali. To enhance our governance and create the necessary efficiencies in the administration, we have begun undertaking a macro-structure review of the institution. This is flowing from the diagnostic assessment that was done by the National Treasury's Government Advisory, Technical Advisory Centre on our municipality. The intention of this program is to institutionalize the MGTS, enhance the end-to-end accountability, and appropriate the group services in a manner that prescribed by Constitution and the Municipal Structures Act for Category A municipalities. We finalized the new macro structure will strengthen efficiency, integration, and accountability. We have appointed a team which has proposed a reorganized structure with clusters for various municipal functions. These clusters of functions form the basis of the establishment of new directorate. The new macro structure is currently undergoing a process of consultation and will be taken to council for approval over the course of next few months. This will provide the basis for us to develop a new microstructure and establishment structure. In consultation with the unions and other stakeholders of our metro. The key feature of a well-governed city is the involvement of the citizens of the metro in our decision-making process. We have once more thoroughly done this through our ITP and budget consultations and our mayoral MBISO programs. We are also having a number of citizen-engaged activities through our Making Service Delivery Fashionable program, where I go to communities at least once a week. Through our operating ward committee public participation framework, we ensure that residents of Buffalo City seamlessly participate in our decision-making process. We always impress upon councillors to have monthly meetings in their wards where they receive people's suggestions and report on progress on earlier made proposals. I recently had a working visit to Buffalo City Customer Service Centre, and this was to ensure that our strategy of improving our customer relations is being optimally implemented. I want to announce that we will soon be allowing citizens to log complaints and get their account statement through social networking platforms such as WhatsApp. In conclusion, yes. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, this is our state of the city address, its future development and progress. It reflects a positive and a decisive advance in growing our economy and creating prosperity for all. Allow me to thank citizens of our metro who are doing great things, which bring character, inspiration, and life to our city. I have a pleasure of hosting these citizens as my special guests today, and they are Mthobi Maxatana, a businessman of our city who has made his duty to assist ex-convicts and drug addicts to regain a place in society and lead positive drug and crime-free lives through employing them. Jamil Kubeka is an award-winning filmmaker from Tanzania who was recently nominated for the best category in the South African Film and Television Awards, SAFTAs. Clayton Rebo, award-winning winemaker, who has been named by the 2018 Diners Club SA Winemaker of the Year. We call upon our retail and hospitality sectors to support Clayton. He comes from King Williamstown. Phumeza Kashemba, founder and CEO of AfriWaste, a recycling company located in Fort Jackson Industrial Park. The company was visited by the president in March when he was here. Azinga Fuzil, East London boxing sensation, whose fight which saw him beat Malcolm Klassen in our city was recently named IBF Continental Africa Fight of the Year. He will be fighting in an IBF elimination match with Rakamov of Russia here in our city in September. Bianca Wood, grade 12 people from Clarendon, who was recently selected for the SA women's hockey team. Mtungwa Mampansela, Selborne College rugby captain, who has been awarded 2020 bursary to attend the Sharks Academy in Durban. Kenan Groep, special needs swimmer from Breibach, who won a bronze medal in the 25-meter freestyle swimming event at the Special Olympics game in Abu Dhabi earlier this year. You know, you will be surprised that Kenan learned his swimming skills at the Breibach River. At the Breibach River. So we must celebrate Kenan's achievements. Professor Willie Tavatswa Chinyamurindi from the University of Fort Hare was recently named one of South Africa's top lecturers by Council on Higher Education and Higher Education and Learning Teaching Association of Southern Africa. And of course, Uviwe Senior Secondary School. Yes. Thank you very much for being here. As you can see, these are special guests whose everyday acts create this hopeful state of Buffalo City Metro. We thought it is important that we acknowledge them and many others who are doing good things in our city as a way of inspiring our people, more particularly young people. It is important to acknowledge the fact that this state of the city was not going to be possible without the participation of various stakeholders, such as government, the legislature, state-owned enterprises, business, labor, civil society, the judiciary, the media. While development is an unending task, we're happy that in doing your work, you have assisted us in building this hopeful reality for our city. The prosperous city we want will be created by our collective actions. I also want to appreciate the role played by the councillors of our metro across the political formations for having created this state of the city. This is the product of our intense debate, where we counsel each other on better ways of growing our city and bettering its people. We should continue to work together to accelerate our development by properly exercising our oversight role. I also appreciate the efforts of the management and workers of the city in executing its task with the necessary professionalism and understanding that were tough because we know that more can be achieved. As a result of my leadership of the executive, it sometimes appears that I'm not harsh on the management. This is mainly because most of the public engagement, such as council, come after we have constructively fought in closed meetings. We more importantly want to thank the ordinary workers of the municipality, the men and women who on a daily basis strive to make our city a better place to live in. I want to lastly thank the members of the community who assisted in giving a structure and focus of the State of the City address by making contributions in the IDP processes and in our social media platforms. The comments reflect us to be a city that is on a correct route to growth and prosperity. The contributions will continue to inspire the manner in which we implement our metro growth and development strategy. It is essential that I report that we begin this year with 1.3 billion in cash reserves, contrary to what we see written. We begin the 2019-20 financial year with an A rating, with an A credit rating. We shall in the current financial year set up 4 cooperatives in the waste management space. We want to see jobs being created. We are turning waste management into an economic opportunity for our people. This is but just the beginning. We have set the BCMDA a target of establishing 10 cooperatives going into the future. We are a sound and financially viable municipality committed to its citizens and all its stakeholders in the city. Let me once more highlight the point that this address is inspired by the interest and constructive suggestions of the citizens of the Metro, among them Zoli Sikaxenxe, who wrote on my Facebook page that our municipality has so much potential. Real development must unfold. It is time for the Eastern Cape at large to explore and exploit its geographic position and natural resources at its disposal to boost its economy and do away with the culture of dependency in its citizens. End quote. Let us together perform this task of growing our economy with the requisite commitment and dedication. We should do this knowing that we are standing in the shoulders of giants who have dedicated their lives to see our city and country develop for the better. In unveiling the life-size statue of Reverend Dr. Mpilo Walter Benson Khubusana that we erected in front of the City Hall, I made a remark that we are confident that the presence of the spirit of Reverend Khubusana among us will give our councillors and council the wisdom of Solomon as we are dealing with the affairs of the people of Buffalo City. Let this be a call for us to wisely contribute to the development of the better city that we so desire. It is essential to note that there are those of us who departed the earth since the last time we met here. Among those are councillors, Mlandeli Ngabayena, Jan Smith, Sabelo Hoyo, Richard Roy. We also lost veterans of our struggle, among them Fengu Makalima, Malkit Khambaliatu Etwantlebi, and many others. We should commit ourselves to continue to struggle for the development of our metro and broadly our province in their honor. Let their passing be not in vain. In concluding this address, allow me to borrow from the words of our icon, President Nelson Mandela, in his opening address to the first conference of the African National Congress in South Africa in 1991, where he says, and I quote, "The ability to conduct struggle is gained in struggle. The ability to score victories is a function of the experience that we gain in struggle. Experience also means mistakes and failures. It is by learning from this that we are able to struggle in a better way. Fear of mistakes and failures means only one thing. It means fear of engaging in struggle." End quote. I want to commit that we'll continue to pursue the mandate that our people have given us, knowing that experience also means mistakes. We will not be terrified by mistakes into not pursuing our program of growing our economy and creating prosperity for the people of our metro. Buffalo City is open for business. Tell no lies, claim no easy victories. Thank you, Program Chair.
kwesi sizwe yakhiwe ngokungcoliswa nangokuxhaswa. Ebekhe wathunya izolo uMkhulu kwabikho gqeke. Wahamba waqabela kuloo maqandeka xa ke kusaya kwanocollege. Uyaziwa utilekasi ngapha kwetibi neentaba zaseBhukazana. Ngoba kaloku ukhutshwe ngowokuqala kwiqala lokugqibela. Le nto imbali kakade into kubaliswa lusapho luntsundu. Ababekho sebaqalela ababengekho. Ababengekho sebaqalela abangekazalwa. Kodwa abangekazalwa bayihlamahlongwana. Selibambe kaloku lingatshoni. Ngoba sikule ntendelezo yomzi wamanzi amakhulu aseGompo. Zenziwe izinto kweli lizwe kwade kwabiwa neenkwekwezi. Bayayazi abantwana bohlanga neenkonyane. Ngoba kaloku amathola amaduna wazivinja inkobe zomthonyama. Kwangoko sisithi kunikwa sisikhwebu. Nale nto ingumbona into yokuqhubelana. Nanemsukela ngantoni nakakadunyana kadibashe. Ngoba wayengadlanga lifa lomntu. Ngoko wathatha inceba wakayise yasuka yamfanela. Ngoko sisithi kuni ngale ndlela. Waya! 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 Waya!
Well, thank you very much. Can you please now, in honor of my directive, once more give the Executive Mayor a round of applause. Indeed, a well-deserved one. Thank you very much, Executive Mayor. It's not easy. It's quite not easy. Now, I've got the following to do. There are people that we could not acknowledge. Because they are here, they left everything to be part of this session. With due respect, in honor of this very important day, it is therefore important to acknowledge their presence. I wish to say in our presence, we acknowledge the presence of Brigadier Kanuka. I know Brigadier Kanuka is not alone. He is accompanied by a contingent of policemen and women, and who in the main operate here in Buffalo City. We really acknowledge your presence, and all other police men and women who formed part of this program since the early morning. We wish as well, and I know there are many people, we may not have seen everybody, to acknowledge the presence of former and current MPLs and MPs. Those who are brought to our attention as former MPLs and former MPs. We have one of my best colleagues here, in the name of Grant Snell. And as well, one of my best colleagues, Mr. Humphrey Maqegwana. I know that he was serving in one of the most, or chairing in the National Parliament, one of the most explosive committees, which is a committee, I think, on communications. You're welcome, sir. The teachers from Iviwe High School, we really acknowledge your presence. Political parties, some political parties did submit names of their leadership present. I have seen members of the EFF present here. We didn't receive the names of their leadership. We acknowledge their presence. We have as well seen members of the Democratic Alliance present, but the names of their leadership was not submitted. We as well wish to acknowledge the presence of the ANC leadership, especially in this region of Dr. W.B. Khubusana, led by the regional secretary, Comrade Antonio Carrels. He is He is accompanied by the regional treasury, Comrade Putu. We wish as well to acknowledge the presence of the leadership of our unions here in the Buffalo City, the leadership of Samu and the leadership of Imatu. We must as well take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of COSATU leadership, led by Comrade Mfazwe. As I indicated as well, we also have a delegate from the NYDA, Comrade Princess Faku, amongst us. Yes. So, sorry for those whose names may not have been forwarded. You are equally acknowledged. Thank you very much. We will shorten the program in this way. We're supposed to have an item from Imondi Jazz Band. If it will take time, allow me just to proceed to the conclusion. Okay? And then you will continue with the music thereafter. Are you ready now? Are you ready now? Imondi Jazz? Okay, just perform one item and then we deal with the final part of the program. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, no, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Well, I'm the last person to speak, or there will be a last person to speak who will do the announcements. So immediately I step off the podium. Ms. Ondela Mahlangu, will you please come to the podium to do the announcement? Once I step off, okay, it will be your turn. This was a great speech, ne? This was a great speech. Can we clap the hands for that? You will receive the copies of the speech. Okay? As we move out, you will receive the copies of the speech. That, rest assured. 2, the speech, once it is presented, is subject to engagement by political parties in the council meeting. So what is going to happen in the next council meeting, which is scheduled for the 31st of July, that is next week on Wednesday, political parties will be afforded the opportunity to engage with the speech or the State of the City address. Okay? 2, there is an item of vote of thanks. The executive mayor has done so, isn't it? Unibulele nonke mos apha. He has thanked all of you for your presence here. He has thanked every individual for contributing in the processes of the municipality, which have led to this product today, which is called the State of the Metro Address. So, to everyone, to the officials, to the councillors, to the council committees, everybody who has made contribution in the processes of debate in the municipality, which has led to the construction of this kind of a state of address, is well thanked. Okay, that the executive mayor has done perfectly. All that I want to say, this has been a great moment for us, a moment of sharing and a moment of enlightening ourselves, a moment of getting clarity on the state of our city. And that has exactly happened. At least from now, sizophuma apha noko sizelwe kokutsha, having a different understanding about the ins and outs of Buffalo City. What is happening in the Buffalo City in terms of the performance of the city, what are the challenges, what are the remedial mechanisms that are put in place, and what are the future plans to take the city forward, and so forth and so forth. And all those reflections are in the state of the Metro Address as presented by the Executive Mayor. Now, this is a process that is undertaken under the auspices of maintaining accountability, transparency, and ensuring that our participation in these processes, the Executive Mayor was saying, we need to ensure inclusive participation. For the people to participate in a meaningful manner, people must have the knowledge and understanding. And this state of the Metro Address has exactly empowered us so that when we do that participation in the processes of decision-making in the city, as mentioned by Executive Mayor, we do so from an informed position. In order for us to be constructive in debates, we must move from an informed position. which is indeed today's platform, has empowered us in that regard. Ndifuna ke ukuthetha lento. The mayor made reference to a road from Beacon Bay, the unfinished road from Beacon Bay to Gunubi, and where the Fourth Estate made reference to that road as a road to nowhere. But I think from the state of the metro address, or the city address today, indeed, we are able as Buffalo City citizens and leadership to say we are indeed on the road to somewhere. We are indeed on the road to somewhere, as against the phenomenon of the road to nowhere. Okay, so with those few words then, thank you very much once more. I will now invite Mrs. Mahlangu to do the announcements.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Honorable Speaker, Councillor Mtsi. All protocol observed. Good afternoon. Mine is a quick one, just to announce the lunch serving arrangements. We have 4 serving bays. 3 are at the back there, right at the end, and 1 is just behind the stage. And the first 2 rows will actually use the one that is behind the stage, but we'll have ushers that will be guiding them. And then in terms of the dessert will be served on the tables. Thank you very much.
Singaba senze ityala uphu umfundisi uBleki bekuvule ngomthandazo umfundisi ka uzosivalela ngofefe inkosi kakhulu.
Can we all rise? Let's share the grace. May the good Lord bless and keep you. May he always make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, the fellowship of the Holy Spirit, our Comforter, abide with us now and forevermore. Amen.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.